conversation. I'm hoping that they're willing to have a conversation. And if they do want to have a conversation, they will have a conversation with me. And we will, let's just say we'll end with at least having two people understanding one another as opposed to two people who are angry and ticked off at one another who now all of a sudden are enemies. Because I want them to come back, because this is a conversation we're going to have forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until it's done. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. First, we're going to have my good friend and author. His name is Mike Leibowitz. Mike Lebo is coming back to the program. Oops, what the heck did I just do? Mike Lebo is coming back to the program to talk about the political party that he is a part of now. And, how do I describe this? I don't know what the deal is with this political party. I just know that he's a part of it. But, apparently there's some actor who was in the TV show Lost in Supernatural who's the head of it. We'll talk about that a little bit, about why he's left the libertarians and he's gone with this new capitalist party. I've never really heard of them until Lebo brought it up, but we'll have him on at 4 o'clock to talk about that. And our second guest will be on at 4:35. His name is Juan Fonseca Tapia. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Juan Fonseca Tapia. And he is the campaign manager of the Trust Act Now campaign, which is a campaign for illegals. It just is. It's a campaign for illegals. He will call them people looking for refuge. He will call them undocumented. They're illegals. We'll go back and forth about that for a little bit, but I don't think that'll be the crux of it. But if he calls in, I gave him the hotline number. I'm hoping that he will call in so we can have a discussion about his article that's in the Hartford Courant today. He referred to immigration as kidnapping, what Tom Homan and Donald Trump are doing. Kidnapping people. I found that statement rich. We'll get into it. Now, let me get into my opening monologue. I read a headline today, and I found this headline interesting. And it's something that's been said by people like Dick Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, anyone on the left, using or saying, I should say, suggesting that Donald Trump is going to use the federal government and the Department of Justice in particular to go after his political enemies. And that has been belly-hooed about for the longest, since November 5th. Even though there's nothing Donald Trump could do about it. He won the Senate, he won the Congress, he clearly won the majority enough to get all of his cabinet members through. There was no stopping Kash Patel, Linda McMahon, Pam Bondi, whomever it was, no matter what they're screaming and hollering about, it didn't matter. There was no stopping it. Democrats couldn't stop it. The only thing they could do was complain. The New York Times has a headline today: Trump ramps up attacks on law firms with order targeting Perkins Co. This was the organization or the law firm that was very much responsible for going after Donald Trump. He took away their clearances, and now the New York Times is talking about going after him. Okay. That may be 100% true. In this case, I'm going to give the media the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that yes, American news media, people on the left, Donald Trump is going after his political enemies. You're 100% right. Donald Trump is going to imprison people who went against him or after him. He is going to get his retribution. And ladies and gentlemen, we are all here for that. We all stand in solidarity. Some people on the MAGA right don't, but many of us do. And I'd like to tell you a little story, give you a little anecdote about what I'm talking about. You see, I look at the world from a particular perspective. As a young man, a lot of things have been done against me. No matter how hard I tried to be the good guy, no matter how hard I tried to restrain myself by acting out when people did wrong, I stood steadfast saying, no, do not sink to their level. Hold your head up high while they sling arrows at you. Because you know what? God is on your side. God is on the side of righteousness. Stand firm. If you can survive it, you'll come out grateful on the other side. I believed that for a lot of years. And then the worst thing possible could happen to a man. When people can lie and besmirch you so much that they almost destroy your life. They wish to destroy your life to put you in a place that you can never recover from. No matter what you say, no matter what pleas you give, no one even reaches their arm out to you. Your friends, your family abandon you, and you stand there alone. As they make way for themselves, they jump off the so-called sinking ship and leave you standing there. And while you endure that for some 2-3 years, other people start coming out of the woodwork and really start to recognize it's wrong what they did to you. The people who care about you and love you, it's wrong. And then they realize that you're the persecuted one, but you don't complain, you don't scream, and you don't holler, you just persevere. As the headwinds come your way, you just hunker down and put your collar up, and you go right into those headwinds. And people start to see, wow, this guy should be on the ground. This guy should be in the fetal position with the thumb in his mouth, crying for mommy, but he keeps pushing back. Why? He's done for. And then people start to recognize that and say, you know what, I think I want to walk with that guy. If that guy can survive that, I'll follow him anywhere. And they do. And that coalition starts to grow and grow and grow. And as it grows, your enemies start to say even worse things about you. They attack you publicly. They use their power to, literally destroy you, your family, your wife, your child, everybody. But you keep going on and you gather more and more people behind you. And people start to ask the question, why are they fighting this guy so hard? Why are they saying these awful, vicious things to him while he says nothing, but he keeps persevering, still trying to get his message out, telling people, I want to work for you. I want to take care of you. I think that you're the ones. I think what's happening to me is exactly what's happening to you. And I want to be the person to get those people, to go after those people, and to stop those people. Because if they can do it to me, they can do it to you. And all of a sudden, that coalition starts to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and then it becomes insurmountable for the opposition. And then you win. You ascend to the highest office in the land. And do you think that after everything that my opposition has done, I'm going to stand by and play nice? No. You tried to put me in prison for life. You tried to take everything I had away from me, financially, my businesses. You tried to keep me from being able to support my family, to ensure that they forever had a legacy, generational wealth. You were going to destroy not just my name, but the name of my family, the name of my father, the name of my brother, my mother, my wife, my children, my grandchildren. You were going to destroy every one of them, and you spared none of them your wrath. And now you think when I get in a position of power, I am not going to extend every bit of those pleasantries right back at you? You've got it coming. You laid such vile things at my feet. You enraged so many people in so many ways. You had death threats come my way. You had a young man shoot at my face from a perch. People allowed that to happen. There may be a possibility that you insisted in him trying to take my life and destroy any momentum I had in getting rid of your evil, vile ways. And you think you ain't got it coming? You don't think that I am not going to work every part of my existence to destroy you? Even though everything that you've done may have been a violation of the law, you may have broken laws, you may have conspired with people who broke laws, you have completely walked away from any sense of decency. You have walked away from any sense of fair play. You assisted others as not only broke the law, but they went after people you would never allow them to go after if it was somebody that you liked. You turned the other way as Letitia James charged me and my company for something that businesses have been doing for over 150 years. You aided and abetted her by telling the American public that I had done something illegal when everybody knew that it was legal, that it had never been charged as any crime, even though banks were not victims. You made people believe through your media outlets that what I had done was a crime. Alvin Bragg, you turned a $130,000 payment to my attorney to a campaign contribution, one that everybody knew was bogus, but people in the media and everywhere you looked pretended that it was something it wasn't. You all aided and abetted in that. And you think that once I got the American people to realize that I wasn't going to find the illegality in your actions and make sure that you paid for them, if you jumped out a window to destroy me and you broke laws to do it, you have to pay. You have to pay. Why would you expect me to play nice when there's no even remote thought of doing that for me? You showed me no grace. You showed me no peace. You are still making it possible for some lunatic to take a shot at me and take my life. You want it to happen. You made it clear you want it to happen. And you don't think that I should go after you with every fiber of my legal being? You deserve what's coming to you. And if anybody's got an issue with that, that's fine. But I look at this like, I'll put it in a simple way. It would be like somebody driving by your house and shooting it up, putting your family, your wife, your children in danger, and just coming by the house, shooting it up every day. And every morning you woke up and you just fixed the windows and the doors. You didn't call a cop. You know who did it. You know who did it. You know who the perpetrators are. But you just wake up every morning and you just change the windows, change the doors. You don't move. You just wait for the next shot to come ringing through your door, ringing through your window, for your kids to have to do their homework in a bathtub, sleep on the floor, and just wake up in the morning and do it all over again. If you were to see that person every day and say, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you fight back? Why don't you make sure that these people never do it again? You would look at that person like they were crazy if they didn't. So what makes you think that this guy is any crazy or any crazier if he doesn't? What makes you think that he wouldn't be some sort of lunatic if he didn't make sure, especially if they did something illegal, that they didn't pay for it? These people who walked with him, these people who pushed him over the finish line, part of the reason was because they wanted him to become president, but another part was to get their damn retribution. That's what Donald Trump said on his campaign trail. I am your retribution. And it's time for him to pay up. We want Schiff gone. Get him in a DC gulag yesterday. We want the people who are responsible behind bars. We want perp walks. We want long investigations. We want to watch people go into poverty, defending themselves. Every one of them. We didn't forget about Michael Flynn either. So please spare me with that. He's going after his political enemies. Yeah. That's what we voted for. We voted for retribution. We'll come back. We'll take your phone calls on the other side of the break. Don't forget, we've got two guests. We got Lebo at 4:05, and then we've got, I'm forgetting his name now. My bad. Juan Fonseca Tapia on and 4:30. All right, if you want to call in, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's Reese on the radio, NewsTalk, 1080 WTIC.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth from Money Wisdom. Tune in this week and every week to gain a better understanding of taxes, retirement income, and long-term care. The Money Wisdom, Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. My good friend Phil just finished week 3 of Awaken 180 weight loss. Your ballpark number now that you're thinking is what in total?
I'd say 20, 21 or more. The weight just keeps coming off.
Wow. Here we go, Phil. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson. I hope you'll tune in to listen to my show every weeknight at 6 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. I'll break down the news of the day, everything from national politics down to the battle at the local school board. I'm not going to give you the party line, no predictable red meat. I'll give you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and what's going on in this insane world. I hope you'll join me. The Eric Erickson Show, weeknights 6 till 9 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080 and on the free Odyssey app.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions.
Testing.
Millions
Okay,
of
good.
Americans
Perfect
take medicine
now.
like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
43 degrees at 3:30. I'm John Silva. Windy conditions expected to persist throughout this afternoon. Gusts have been measured upward of 40 miles an hour. Eversource says thousands of its customers are without power. Wind advisories up through 7. State Inspector General's office has assumed the investigation into that fatal shooting Thursday that left a man dead in Hartford. Police say they were conducting a firearms investigation on Homestead Avenue when a suspect pulled a gun and 3 officers opened fire. The name of the person who was killed has not yet been released. Bristol police have arrested a man for allegedly trying to pick up 2 young girls in a shopping plaza in town back in January. 66-year-old Robert Darche was charged. Detectives say they responded to the Farmington Avenue Dollar Tree back on January 11th after the 10 and 11-year-olds told their parents Darche showed them money and asked them to follow him to his car. He faces charges of attempted kidnapping. In Norwalk, the investigation is continuing into the discovery of a woman's body found in the Norwalk River. Police there say 35-year-old New York resident Paige Fannin was pulled from the river on Thursday. Ukraine officials say Russia has targeted energy facilities with dozens of missiles and drones in a nighttime attack. The barrage hobbled the country's ability to deliver heat and light to its citizens and power weapons factories vital to its defenses. 3 weeks since Pope Francis was hospitalized for bronchitis, which then led to double pneumonia. He was also treated for a complex lung infection and has since suffered several respiratory crises requiring further treatment, including machines to help him breathe. Doctors not involved with the Pope's care say the road ahead could be tricky, even if His Holiness fully recovers. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Jason Catarina has the forecast.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, cooler and partly sunny with strong winds gusting past 40 miles an hour at times, and those winds could cause localized power outages, down trees, and a blowover risk for high-profile vehicles, the high of 43. Thickening clouds tonight, the low dipping down to 34. Another windy day on Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun, the high right back to 43. Then Sunday, a mix of clouds and sun as well, the high of 44. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, Wilbur Cross Parkway northbound, the Hamden Woodbridge area there, between exits 59 and 60, right lane is closed due to a crash. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
It's time to spring ahead. Thomaston Savings Bank reminds you to set your clocks ahead an hour before you go to sleep Saturday night.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
At Ashley, we're celebrating 80 years of innovation, style, and value with special offerings on stunning pieces. Get our top designer styles and pay over time with 80-month special financing on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Don't miss the Ashley 80th Anniversary Sale going on now, only at Ashley. Shop in-store and online. Monthly payments required. See store associate for details.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. What? They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. 149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, Cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water, and it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Life is
30 seconds.
At Columbia
Take us out.
Implant Center, you get the dental guarantee with 1 day, same day, 7 days a week dental care. Columbia Implant Center makes your dream smile come true with all the dentists and dental specialists and an on-site dental lab in Manchester. They've evolved over 25 years, now providing the convenience you deserve so you don't have to away from work or wherever you need to be. At Columbia Implant Center, your dental health shouldn't have to wait till Monday morning. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We are back. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. That's right, is the airing of Grievance Friday. It's Roland's favorite day, my least favorite day, because it's the weekend and, he gets to
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he's all excited. That's all I had to do was say that to him. Let's get a couple of new people in here. Let's go right to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Joe is in West Hartford. How we doing, Joe?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Reese, especially since I just heard your last commentary, which was awesome.
Thank you.
I agree.
Much appreciated.
Completely.
Yeah, I wonder what do you think that whole deal is with people, sort of not expecting him to at least make good on the fact that people may have illegally gone after him in ways that could have destroyed his and his family's life, his businesses, everything that he worked so hard for. What would make anyone think that it wouldn't be the right thing to bring those people to justice? Where do you think that comes from?
Being so naive that you're blind, that's the only thing it could be.
Were you one of the people that I was talking about when I said that many of us voted for, that line he said in the famous speech, "I am your retribution"? Because I'm not going to lie, when he said that, I knew in that moment, I kind of felt like, I think I'm MAGA now.
Yeah. I guess I always was. I never like to categorize myself as any one of those groups.
Right.
But I go for the one that feels right, and he's right. I have only but one suggestion for your commentary.
Sure.
The next time you do something like that about him for retribution, you need to have background music. James Brown, Payback.
Right. You're right. 100% correct. That should have, you know what? That is a perfect song, and we will make that happen the next time around. Much appreciated,
Thank you.
Joe. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Jane, who's in Bloomfield. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Reese. Yesterday, I want to go back to yesterday. I think you had somebody that was on talking about schools, and my question, and I'll tell you, I would love to have President Trump bring back the grading system in schools. Remember, A, B, C, D, F,
Sure.
or fail. Kids stayed back in schools. They had summer school. Kids nowadays, I hate to say this, but I will. Kids are stupid. They don't know. They don't even know what a dictionary is. I love my dictionary. It's got so much information in there, and kids can't even talk to you. They can't even look at you. Remember when we used to do a problem, trigonometry, geometry, we had to do it in our heads. And if you can't do the problem, it's either right or wrong. And I met two young ladies that were really saddened for the fact that they just pushed them along. And one girl, she said, I have a problem with math. And I thought she was joking. She was in tears.
Wow.
And why can't we have, remember, kids used to have tutors. They don't have anything like this. And when I hear everybody says, oh, my kid's so smart. I don't know where they get their brains from. Come on. Let's get our grading system back in. How do we do that, Reese?
I think, one of the ways that we do that, and I think it is, we need to start with getting rid of the bureaucracy. And I think that Trump and Linda McMahon are both right in the idea of let's take the classrooms out of Washington and let's get back to basic learning in the classroom. And I'll tell you, we also have to get back to the basics. You said something interesting there. While you were saying it, I remember this story. It was in 2011. It was, I want to say September of 2011. This was at the height of Occupy Wall Street in Manhattan. Now, I'm going to set a scene for you if you'll allow me. For those of you who've ever watched the Spider-Man movie with Tom Holman, the high school he went to in the movie is actually called Franklin K. Lane. That's the high school that they filmed that scene at. There's a scene where he's coming down the steps of the L subway, the elevated subway. He's coming down the stairs to walk to his high school. I was walking up those stairs. I used to live down the block from there, and it was 2011 when I lived there, and I'm going up those same stairs that Tom Holman walks down. When I get to the top of the stairs, there's a high school student who went to that school who said to me, "Sir, do you know what time it is?" And I took my arm and I put it in front of her so she can read it. Not because I was trying to sort of spoof her or anything. It was, here you go. And she looked at my, what kind of watch did I have? I want to say a Casio watch or something. No, it wasn't Casio because it wasn't digital. It was a Timex or something like that. But she looked at it and she said, "I can't read that." And I looked at my watch and I went, "I'm sorry?" She goes, no, I can't read that. And I went, "You can't read a clock?" She goes, no, I only read digital. I lost my mind. And I said, ma'am, it's 2:42. And she was like, "Oh, thank you." And I didn't shame her or anything, but that moment, I went, oh my goodness. Like, you can't read a clock. I mean, when my kids were going to school, I remember when they came in with their work assignments showing us, that they were still doing analog clock time. The kids in high school don't know how to do that? That's insanity. So it was, to me, it was daunting and it was scary. But by the way, this is even better, Jane. Let me tell you the worst part. So when I get to Zuccotti Park to cover the Occupy Wall Street guys, I'm in a conversation about that incident, about that encounter. An older man sat there and says, "So why are you shaming her because she couldn't read a clock?" I looked at her and said, I was like, "What? Are you condoning the fact that a high school student can't read a clock? Like, are you actually making excuses for that?" And that was when I knew. I said, that's it. Education is lost in this country. Because it's not so much that they don't learn, is that people are making excuses for it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's where we are.
Wow. Oh, how can we turn the hand back of time to make it so we could do it the right way?
Stop shaming tradition. Stop shaming traditional values. And trust me when I tell you, we're on our way. Because the Democrats have become such a freak show. They've become the most permissive culture in the world. Everything in the world. Do you know, you go read the New York Post if you can, Jane. Go read the New York Post. There's an article in there about a rap video inside of a strip club. Do you want to know what the controversy is? There is a veteran of the New York City Police Department on a stripper pole inside the music video. And people are having a discussion about whether or not what she's doing is shaming the badge. The answer is yes. But again, like I said, the left has become so permitting of this kind of behavior. Like there are no standards, no values, no nothing. That people can't even understand that a police officer on a stripper pole in a rap video showing half, if not, we're talking like all of her behind in the music video. Nobody thinks that that's disrespectful to the badge, if not herself. So that's where we are today.
Oh my God. Wow.
I could do this all day, Jane.
You know what? I love it. You just made my day telling me that story, and now I want to go watch that movie. But thank you.
You're
You're
welcome, very much so. Let's go to Ken in Tolan before we take a break. How we doing, Ken? Ken, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how can I help you, sir?
Well, I used to listen to TIC all the time.
Okay.
I called up about complaining about the Connecticut Transit buses that drive all over the state. There's nobody in there, but they have the windows so dark. What a disappointment for taxpayers, you know?
Let's talk can we talk about that a little bit? Because yesterday, Ken, I don't know if you heard the program, Governor Lamont gave his budget speech, and he was complaining that Sean Duffy sent out a memo that said that they were not going to give more transportation money to states that have low birth rates or marriage rates. And Connecticut comes in 45 out of 52 on that list. Like 52 is the last. Connecticut comes in 45. So you're talking about buses that are traveling through the state and no one's in them.
Correct.
Yeah, so you get my point, right? So Lamont's poo-pooing about people who...
What's your point? They're going to stop doing that?
No. My point is that we are financing a bus system inside the state no one's using. Do you understand?
Correct.
It's like, it's ridiculous. This is taxpayer dollars going out the window. Like there's one of two things have to happen. We have to limit the amount of buses that run because clearly no one's on them. And this will obviously cut the budget of the public transportation system in half, if not a third.
Okay. Stop. Listen to me. They could get a station wagon. You know, there's a bus that goes from Hartford to the mall in case people from Hartford want to go shopping.
Yeah.
Then to Vernon, then to Tallinn, then to Yukon. All they're doing is wearing the road out, polluting the air. They're diesel buses.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody on them.
It's a good
and
point.
I don't know how many things I've done to try to stop that. But that's not my point today.
What's your point, sir?
My point today is I listen to all these people talking, and it's baffling. It's baffling. Turn on YouTube. Watch Murphy about all the corruption in the last 6 weeks in the government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, turn it on. Watch it. And it's true. And Trump blames Biden and everybody else for the crap going on now. And that's not right. You know, 6 weeks, we're going down the tubes.
You think we're going down the tubes? We're determining going down the tube in just 6 weeks. We can determine that. I mean, at least we can't get our sea legs on us. I mean, maybe see me in 6 months, or maybe even after the first 100 days. We're 6 weeks in and we're already down the tube?
Okay. My 401k is going down the tube.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. All right. The whole world hates the United States right now. They do.
To be honest with you, I don't think that's a metric that I care about.
You don't?
No, because listen,
what about the people that stood up for us? Canada, United States, France, England, Australia, who fought, and millions of people died for World War II for our freedom.
We're 80 years. We're 80 years beyond World War II. Okay.
No kidding.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to look. The world cannot be the barometer for which we love our country. If they don't like us, we don't have to subsidize them. I love the idea of not paying for people who don't like us. I'd say to hell with them. And I don't think they should be the standard bearer when we've got Europe who are allowing Muslims into their country who have now injected a culture where they're raping young girls in and out the street, and the premiers and the other members of parliament are turning their backs on their own citizens. I got to take a break, Ken. It's too much to get into now. But I don't care whether or not. No, the world's looking down on us. Are you kidding me? They rely on us. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and your phone calls when we return. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love, because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Northeast Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your love life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
What's the difference between Allaire Elder Law and most elder planning services? Allaire Elder Law is a law firm, which means we can advise you on asset protection and next step planning to avoid probate and protect the other spouse for their future needs. For example, after working to protect assets from the Medicaid spouse, the healthy spouse needs a special will to keep protecting things in future. With other services, if you're just getting the Medicaid application and not necessary legal documents or strategies, you're getting much less, and often for the same price. Medicaid processing companies can be slow. They may sound like a good deal, but a lot of times they put the work on the family's shoulders, which could mean it takes more time, which costs money when paying for care. Our job is education as much as execution. Finally, please ask the question, are you being referred to a Medicaid planning service for the right reasons, or might they be steering you? I'm Haley Allaire. For comprehensive senior planning for your family, the right choice is Allaire Elder Law. Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
There are times where high standards are vital. For example, your football team wouldn't let just anyone start at quarterback. And should you let just anyone give you guidance? We don't think so. In fact, at California Psychics, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. You see, we come from the home of free spirits and open minds. We're not short of spiritual believers or big dreamers. It's why we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. California Psychics connect you with the very best, so we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So, there's never been a better time to give our services a try. That sounds like a touchdown to me. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. So I said Ken is day drinking. I don't think he's day drinking. I think he's just upset. Probably not a fan of Donald Trump. But like I said, I know where people come from with this whole idea with the European standard. People love to use the European standard. Europe thinks they're better than America. People in America think, well, the European, it's always funny that, you know, they always want to crap on the European standard in America when it appeases them, but otherwise they want to be just like them. We need to drive cars like them. Europe is no standard bearer for me. We're America. We don't see an entire country flocking to Europe to move there compared to what them flocking to these United States. We don't. Ever. They want to be here. We're the coolest. They want to sell things here. Why? Because they want to be accepted here. Some of these places, you know, they're not dying to sell it to Chinese people. They're dying to sell it to Americans. Because, we are the standard bearer. We just are. So I don't listen to all that nonsense. Yeah, what about America's being looked down on by all of these? So what? Let's go to Bill in Middletown. Bill, Middletown is in my stupidest thing I read today. I love Middletown.
Well, Middletown has a lot of stupid things going on. It's just a fact. The last call you had on, I almost wanted to laugh. It's like, I don't want to be anything like Western Europe.
Exactly.
Not one thing like them. If anything, they should want to be more like us. And I know people who live there they are upset and disgusted with what's going on over there. But to bring back a little something about Middletown, about state, our shortfall in Middletown right now is $52 million on our budget due to state funding. So where is our tax dollars going towards? I'm just curious.
Bill, you're breaking up badly because the key parts of what you're saying I can't hear. But
okay, wait, let me try this. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're still doing it. Yeah, you're still doing very, very choppy. But say your last point. Let's see if we can get it.
Okay, last point is, what is the state of Connecticut doing with our tax dollars when we have a $52 million fallback on our money here in our budget?
Shortfall in our budget. You're 100% right. And you know what? Listen, I don't agree with Ken on the whole, America, as being most hated upon. But he is right about the busing system. If we know that we can cut that cost and no one is using the buses, right, we can cut that cost. It's a start. I'm not saying that we don't cut it because it isn't enough money. We got to cut it because it needs to be cut. That's the point I'm making. Anyway, hopefully, Ken, I should say, gosh, I forgot his name already. Call back so if you get a better line. So I'd like to get you in there. Anyway, let's get a first check of our traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing today, sir?
Hey, Reese, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, look for delays 84 eastbound, about a half mile before 46th Avenue, down to the Bulkley, westbound 84, tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91 delays 34, down to 32 A and B. Another little bump down by exit 28. Northbound side of 91, that's a little slow as you move up on 25, 26 in Weathersfield. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay. 2 westbound, some slow traffic, exit 4 up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound, Middletown slowing. Harbor Park to the Oregonian, again, some more slow traffic approaching 34 on 9 north in New Britain. 84 eastbound, Waterbury type between 17 and 18. Westbound 84 is running slow. 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Now, if you're traveling on the northbound side of the Parkway, we had an accident right on the Hamden-North Haven line between exit 59 and 60. The right lane shut down there, so delays are approaching exit 59. Behind that, South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. We do have some road closures out there still from the wind today, knocking down the wires in the trees coming down. Route 94 in Hebron shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton Town Line. In Manchester, Route 6 and 44 is shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Road. In Lebanon, Route 207 is shut down near Levita Road. In Scotland, Route 14 is shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. And in Willington, Route 32 is shut down at George Drive, all because of trees and wires that are down. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Friday afternoon, partly sunny and cooler with strong winds gusting past 40 miles an hour, and those strong winds could cause localized power outages, down trees, and a blowover risk for high-profile vehicles. The high of 43. Thickening clouds tonight with the low down to 34. Still windy as we head into the weekend Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high back to 43. Sunday, not as windy with clouds and sun. The high of 44. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 43 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva.
WTIC 1080 News. It has been a windy day today across Connecticut. High winds have buffeted the state. Gusts of between 40 and 50 miles an hour and even higher in some spots have been reported. Those winds have brought down trees and power lines, closed over a dozen local state roads also. In Newington, police there say they were dispatched to the area of Hillside and Homecrest Streets when a large tree came down on a U.S. Postal Service vehicle. There were no injuries, but the tree did take down some power lines. Winds will tend to decrease, but a wind advisory remains in effect for our area through 7 tonight. Senator Richard Blumenthal says President Trump's layoffs at the IRS will assist big money tax avoiders and evaders. Trump and Elon Musk plan a 50% cut to the agency's workforce on top of the recent firing of about 7,000 people.
A gift to the grifters like Elon Musk, who are already benefiting from loopholes and avoidance and evasion.
Now, Blumenthal and Senator Chris Murphy spoke at the state capitol. They say the government will have to find a way to make up for the revenue that's lost because there are fewer IRS agents to collect it. Fed Chair Jerome Powell admits to some economic uncertainty with policy changes coming fast from the administration, and he says interest rates will most likely stay as is for the coming months.
As we parse the incoming information, we are focused on separating the signal from the noise as the outlook evolves. We do not need to be in a hurry, and we are well positioned to wait for greater clarity.
151,000 jobs were created last month, according to the Labor Department. Bristol police have arrested a man for allegedly trying to pick up 2 young girls in a shopping plaza in town in January. 66-year-old Robert Darche is charged. Detectives say they responded to the Farmington Avenue Dollar Tree back on January 11th after the 10 and 11-year-olds told their parents Darche showed them money and asked them to follow him to his car. He faces charges of attempted kidnapping. Lawyers have advanced the Just Cause evictions bill out of committee, sending it to the House for debate and a vote. The bill requires landlords to give a reason behind an eviction. Connecticut Tenants Union Vice President Luke Melanakis Harrison says a level of reform is much needed.
We have one of the tightest rental markets in the entire country. Consumer Reports has ranked us the #1 worst state in the country for renters. And that has to do with both the price of rent, the quality of housing, and the protections for tenants that are on the books.
Landlord groups expressed concerns about what it means for the future of property owner rights in Connecticut. Many parts of the country springing forward to daylight saving time this weekend. AAA's out with a few reminders to drivers. The most important, stay focused behind the wheel. Well, there will be more sunlight at the end of the day. It also means sunrise is later as well. AAA of Greater Hartford spokeswoman Tracy Noble says there's the risk of drowsy driving, which could lead to crashes due to the loss of an hour's sleep.
Unfortunately, drowsy driving can be very similar to impaired driving because your focus is not where it needs to be. You have impaired judgment, and you tend to make poor decisions while behind the wheel.
Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 222 points. NASDAQ up 126. S&P up 32 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Are you a proud Connecticut business owner? We are too, with more than 45 years of experience handling business transactions for small and mid-sized businesses. And we know that not every business relationship works out as planned. If you find yourself in a dispute, call the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott. Our team of business lawyers have over 100 years At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Nick Panderis is responsible for the content of this ad.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Oh, baby. It's Reese on the radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. We've got Mike Lebo coming up real soon. We'll talk to him about this new political party that he is a part of. I don't know if I guess it is new because a lot of people don't know about it, but we'll talk about that. Talk about why he left the Libertarian Party, and I've got some other questions as well. And he and I go back and forth on some politics as we do often. He and I, from the moment we met, we've sort of been like these two, rams going at each other. But it's all love. We agree on some cases and disagree on others. And he has a podcast, the Rational Egoist, as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that for certain. He's got a lot of interesting conversations going on. Also, we've got Juan Fonseca Tapia coming up as well. Also, at 4:35, the stupidest thing I read today is about a local business in Middletown. So stay tuned for that as well. I'm really ticked off about this particular story. And I know they won't talk about it. At least I read the article and they said that they're kind of being, mum's the word about it. But I want to bring the attention to you because in the story I found out something that I didn't know. You can always go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com to check out the story coming up at 4:35. It's already posted now. About 7 minutes ago, it went live. Go there to go read the story in Middletown. And, it's just crazy. Jason Catarina's got your weather, and Mark Christopher's at BPS Traffic Center. Mark, let me ask you real quick, because I know that you're a sports guy. Are you a live music guy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you like going to see, you don't mind if it's cover music, but you like live bands in like a bar or a restaurant. Okay, great. Because the stupidest story that I read today is related to that. And when we come around 4:30, when we go to the break, I'm going to ask you about it. It's an insane story happening in Middletown that is blowing my mind because I love live music, and there's a company down there that may not be able to do it anymore. Yeah, it's really, really crazy, but we'll talk about it a little bit. But go ahead.
All right.
Give
Reese,
the people what they really came for.
Well, if you're heading into Hartford, westbound side of 84, delays just after 56 Governor Street, out to 46 is an Avenue, 84 eastbound slows, 44 Prospect Oakwood. You're tight right down to the Bulkley Bridge, southbound 91, look for slow traffic 33 to 32. Again, down by exit 28. Northbound 91's a little slow, 25, 26 in Weathersfield. 291, 384 looking good east of the river. 2 westbound slowing in East Hartford. Exit 4 up to the 84 West Merge. Quiet Middletown, 9 in the Aragodi Bridge. Southbound 91, some sluggish traffic, 20 in Middletown down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway in Meriden. Now, if you are traveling on the northbound side of the Parkway, some slow traffic now, approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic, 61 into the West Rock. 95 South, New Haven, slowing 46 down to 44. If you are traveling in toward the Waterbury area, 84 eastbound, a little tight by 18, 84 westbound, sluggish stop and go, 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound in Danbury, some slow traffic, 3 to 5, again from exit 9 in Newtown, 84 eastbound heavy out to exit 11 in Newtown. And we have some road closures due to the trees and wires coming down. Hebron Route 94 shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton Town Line. Manchester Route 6 and 44 shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Road. If you are traveling in Lebanon, Route 207 is shut down near Levita Road. Scotland, Route 14 shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. And in Wellington, Route 34 is shut down at George Drive, all because of trees and wires down. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the winds will subside some tonight, but they're going to pick back up as we head into the weekend. Turning cloudy tonight, the low down to 34. Again, windy for us Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 44 is going to feel like it's well down in the 30s at best. Still breezy Saturday night, mainly clear and colder. The low down to 28. A mix of clouds and sun Sunday, starting a warming trend. The high 46, mostly sunny Monday. The high 52. Partly sunny and warmer Tuesday. The high jumping up to 65 on Tuesday. 41 right now. Waterbury 45 at Danbury. Bristol at 42. Hartford at 43. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. My good friend Phil just finished week 3 of Awaken 180 weight loss. Your ballpark number now that you're thinking is what in total?
I'd say 20, 21 or more. The weight just keeps coming off.
Wow. Here we go, Phil. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Choose Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil, formulated for today's engines only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99 in-store only. Limits apply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is an important as taxpayers.
Yes,
The
sir.
IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. We have a guest joining us, as I said. He was frequent on the show with, of course, our good friend and my homie B Money Slice Grip, Todd Feinberg, was here. He was a regular guest here. None other than the author of View from a Cage and Down the Rabbit Hole, also the host of the podcast, The Rational Egoist. Michael Leibowitz is with us. How are we doing, sir?
My brother from another mother. How goes it?
It goes. It's been, it's been an interesting ride for the past couple of months, as you know. But yeah, it's been good. How's the podcast going? I know you're talking to some interesting people. In fact, tell everyone the most recent, back and forth debate you had with, was it Milton Friedman's son?
David Friedman, yes. I debated David Friedman on my show. We initially had a mini debate at LibertyCon in Washington, D.C.
Right.
But it got cut short because we had to give up the room. So I invited him to come on my show to finish the debate. So he came on and we went at it for about an hour or so. It was great because his father introduced me to economics and
Sure.
the whole idea of free market capitalism. So the idea that I was now debating him, it was a very surreal moment.
I think what's more surreal is that his son is a complete opposite of his dad, Milton Friedman.
Well, I wouldn't say he's the complete opposite.
Oh, come on. What, isn't he an anarchist?
He's an anarcho-capitalist. He
Okay.
advocates for capitalism, but he just thinks that it can be. He believes that you can have competition for law creation. I obviously disagree with him, but that was what the second part of the debate was all about. But ultimately, he does defend free markets and things of that nature. So he's got some good qualities. The guy's absolutely brilliant too. He's got a PhD in physics. He taught law. He's an economist. So. He's a very bright guy.
I'm sure did everything for your ego that he would even dare to debate you. Or at least it must have done great things for you because you went toe-to-toe with a guy like him.
It was a great feeling. Yeah, it was excellent.
I don't
it was
blame
a
you.
Very, what's the word I'm looking for? Respectful debate.
Right. Speaking of LibertyCon, so you just got back from LibertyCon a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it's been, was it just after, was it February or January? When was LibertyCon?
It was February. I went to LibertyCon.
So you went to LibertyCon in February. You come back, you reach out to me because you are now a part of a completely different political party now, which is called the American Capitalist Party.
Yes. So the American Capitalist Party was founded years ago by an objectivist philosopher named Andrew Bernstein, another guy that I don't know much about, and the actor Mark Pellegrino, who people may remember from Lost, or he was Lucifer on Supernatural. He was also in The Big Lebowski and a bunch of other movies. And they put this party together, but they never really did much with it. And then a few months ago, a push happened because Ariana Sneath, who is a big part of our party, her husband's the treasurer, she really got the ball rolling to get it going. And they were at LibertyCon, and I went to LibertyCon to help them promote the party and to, see some of my heroes and to spend some time with Mark, because Mark and I are good friends. And they were hinting and, asking me about if I would consider running for office. And I said, no, it's too much of a time investment for me to do that. And then at about 11 o'clock, Mark called me. I was up in my room, and he said, "Hey, you awake?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm awake." He said, "Come down to the lobby." So I went down there to the little feeding area they have. It was a very nice hotel, so they had all kinds of space there and whatnot. And they asked me if I would be the vice chair of the party, and I agreed. I said, "Sure," because it's something I believe in. I'll do it.
What about this party is different from average conservative-leaning groups? Because I know that, not everybody's MAGA. I know that there are what's called fiscal conservatives. They have all their little fractions. What about this is, like, I'll give you another example, and I guess a better question. Is this the conservative version of the Green Party, or is that a fair comparison?
No.
Okay.
No, there's really not. The party is founded based on the ideas of Ayn Rand. So the objectivist philosophy of Ayn Rand fuels the party's vision and the party's mission.
Okay.
But you don't have to be an objectivist to join the party. You just have to like the ideas. But nonetheless, the ideas in the party, the policies flow from the philosophy of Ayn Rand.
Wait a minute. Does this party celebrate the virtue of selfishness? Because that's
absolutely.
No, it does. It really does. Okay, because that's an Ayn Rand staple in that objectivism. So can you sort of enlighten us a little bit about how the virtue of selfishness plays a role in the party?
Well, yeah. Ultimately, the party celebrates individualism and the rights of individuals to act in their own best interest and to do whatever they see fit with their lives, so long as they're not violating the rights of other people. So if you want to start your business, that's yours. You don't have to answer to the government. You don't have to answer to anybody. You shouldn't be regulated out the door, and you shouldn't be taxed into bankruptcy.
Okay.
So you should be free to act in your own interest, and so should everybody else, to trade with whom you want and to run the type of business you want. And on a more, on a personal freedom, if you want to get high or you want to do drugs, that's your business. I mean, if you're driving or putting others at risk, it's a different story. But ultimately, it's your body, and you should be able to do whatever you want with it.
Right. Well, see, now, and by the way, we're on the phone with Michael Leibowitz, the podcaster from the Rational Egoist, and of course, author of many books. This is the problem with this, and I talked about this. My former boss, should be former host of the show, Star from Star and Buck Wild. He is an Ayn Rand, I guess, for the lack of a better word, follower or supporter of her teachings. Objectivism is a part of who he is. That's how I learned about her. He was literally like my tutor on understanding Ayn Rand, and it's the reason why
you should put me in touch with him, Reese.
Sure. But the thing that I don't seem to understand about this party and its objectivism, because you're talking about individualism, which is, again, a staple of Ayn Rand, but how does a party operate with individualism? Because I kind of feel like they kind of clash, because there's a collective reasoning with a party. So we all have to be a collective in order to be a working party in some way, while it's promoting individualism. How do you square the circle?
Well, you might want to ask the founding fathers that.
Okay.
Question, because this country was ultimately founded on individualism and individual rights.
Okay, but no. Well, hold on. Your tenets are no. Your tenets, as sort of objectivism in Ayn Rand's teaching. What Ayn Rand denounced the collective. That's but in order to operate as a party, you have to be. It's just how it is, right? In order to have a
collective, because you don't have a collective mind, you have a bunch
fair.
Of individualism doesn't mean that individuals can't get together and work together toward a common purpose. It just means that you don't then meld your individuality with everybody else, and it means that I don't owe you something simply because you happen to have been born. Now, if I choose to give to you or I choose to work with you, that's a totally different story.
Can an operation that's based on individualism have a collective message is pretty much my question.
Well, again, I would go back to the founding fathers of the country. The country was founded on individualism, on individual rights. And, throughout the centuries, we've been weaned off of that and more toward a collective, am I my brother's keeper thing, where you owe people that you've never met and you have grievances against you for things you've never done. How many people right now are shooting to have reparations? Right. The AOCs and the Rashida Tlaibs of the world, but they want to have a reparations thing. So whereas people who never owned slaves, they want to give money to people who never were slaves.
Right.
So, that's the essence of collectivism, is that my life isn't my own. I'm not responsible for myself, and everybody's kind of responsible for everyone else. And that's just not what we teach. We want people to be free, to be able to act in their own best interest, the best interest of their families, and make their own decisions without having the government do that for them.
Yeah. By the way, I'm always bothered by people who use the "Am I my brother's keeper" tome. It's always used. Barack Obama used to use that term often, and he always had to be corrected. Is that the statement "Am I my brother's keeper"? That was God asking Cain where Abel was, like after he killed him.
Well, God asked Cain, and Cain answered, "Am I my brother's keeper?"
In essence, to say, I don't know where he is. It's like, it's used now under a completely different context, but that's always when people use it, I go, that's not accurate. Anyway, nonetheless, and that's just because it's that's kind of commonplace when people use that term. So talk to me about so we have this new party. Is it growing? Has it been growing? I know you say it started. How many years ago has the group started, or the political party started?
I'm not exactly sure, but I believe about 9 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Started to put together the idea, but they really never. I might even be wrong about that. I might have misheard it. I don't know. But
okay, but in
September I was.
Yeah, you were saying September.
In September, I was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Interesting, because I actually have my Gettysburg sweatshirt on right now. And I was with Mark Pellegrino. He was signing autographs at this not PaleoCon, what's it called? Paranormal conference.
Yeah.
Paracon. And so because he was going to be relatively close by, I went out there, spent some time with him. And while I was there, I got a text from Ariana Sneath, the secretary of our party, and she says, "Are you with Mark? Are you near Mark right now?" I said, "Yeah, I'm right next to him." And she said, "Oh, well, tell him that I'm getting, the stuff ready to get the party up and running." So that's really when they started to get it going, was in this past September.
And what's the purpose?
Really not that long.
Well, okay, yeah. What is the purpose? I'm assuming you guys are doing either fundraisers. Are you getting people interested in the party? Are you doing forums? What are some of the things that by the way, just so everybody knows, it's called the American Capitalist Party. What are you is there a function?
AmericanCapitalistParty.org.
Okay.
So what we are doing, well, first of all, the reason the party's needed is because this country has really lost its way.
Okay.
There's very few people in public life that are advocating for personal liberty on a consistent level, based on reason, the things that the country was founded on reason, individual rights, free market capitalism. Those are the things that we're advocating for, because we don't see any other outlets for that, and we think it's very important. But the type of things that we're doing is, rather than trying to win Senate races or House races, in the federal government, national office, that sort of thing, is we want to run candidates, field candidates for local offices, your town council,
Sure.
maybe your mayor, that sort of thing, because that's where you're really touching the ground and getting closer to people, and you have a much better chance of making headway with that strategy than you do by, like the Libertarian Party runs a candidate every 4 years for
Right.
president. The guy gets, at most 4%, and then that's the end of that. So
Mhm.
that's not really a solid strategy for advancing the cause of liberty.
And listen, I think it's interesting. I was just concerned on the level of, because I know the way in which people respond to Ayn Rand. They just do. You know this. If you followed her, you know that Ayn Rand, the things that, it's like any other thing. It's like somebody pulls the most negative thing about Ayn Rand and makes that the premise of who she is. I think she's an interesting person. I think she's an incredible philosopher. I think, Atlas Shrugged is a book, although it's a forever read, is probably one of the most important books ever written. Especially under the understanding of free market capitalism. And again, the push of trying to demonize and ostracize the wealthy and the people who are the providers, if not the creators in this country. I love that book for that reason. And there are a lot of people who sort of look past that book, the most important book of any age, and look at the other stuff about Ayn Rand that has absolutely no bearing in the importance of her objectivity, her teachings of objectivity. So I thought that was interesting in and of itself. Do you have a form? And by the way, it's capitalistparty.org, correct?
The AmericanCapitalistParty.org.
Okay, the AmericanCapitalistParty.org. Go ahead.
I think I'm a little embarrassed because now you got me a little confused. It might just be AmericanCapitalistParty.org.
Okay, but they can look it up. It's either or. Well, good luck to you. I mean, let me know if there are any forums or benefits or any of those things that people that are going to be locally in Connecticut that might be interested in the party to find out about it. And I appreciate it. We'll talk later on in the day.
Absolutely. And hey, remember to get me in touch with your boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure you can get in touch with him.
All right. Thanks a lot, Reese.
You got
Keep
it,
up the
sir.
good work, huh?
My pleasure. All right, folks. Mike Leibowitz, the podcast is The Rational Egoist. You can find that online. It's on Spotify and everywhere else. In his new political party, it's called the American Capitalist Party. And look them up if you're interested. Let's get a check of your traffic. Jason Catarinas has the weather, and Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford, 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow again, down by to 28. And then again, 91 southbound sluggish from 20 down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 losing a little speed between 20 in Middletown and 21 in Cromwell. After that, you're moving well Hartford up into Windsor. 291, 384 doing okay east of the river. If you are traveling westbound 84, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound is running slow from 44 down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291, 384 okay. 2 westbound is tight. Approaching exit 4 in East Hartford, we have an accident on the right shoulder on the ramp that takes you to 84 West in East Hartford. It is quiet in Middletown, 9 in the Arcody Bridge. Waterbury is sluggish and stop and go. 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, Waterbury slowing between 17 and 18 on the eastbound side of 84. If you're traveling southbound Parkway, look for delays from exit 62 down to exit 60 in Hamden. Northbound Parkway slowing 59 into the West Rock. 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Some road closures right now because of trees and wires down. Hebron, Route 94 shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton Town Line. Manchester, Route 6 and 44 shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Drive. In Lebanon, Route 207 shut down near Levita Road. Scotland, Route 14 is shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. In Willington, Route 34 is shut down at George Drive. Montville, Route 82 is closed at Doyle Road. And in New Hartford, 219 shut down at Ratlam Road, all because of trees and wires down at those locations. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, partly sunny and cooler with strong winds gusting past 40 miles an hour, and those strong winds could cause localized power outages, down trees, and a blowover risk for high-profile vehicles, the high of 43. Thickening clouds tonight with the low down to 34. Still windy as we head into the weekend Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun, the high back to 43. Sunday, not as windy with clouds and sun, a high of 44. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. There is a wind advisory up for Connecticut until 7 tonight. The high winds have brought down tree limbs and power lines. Eversource currently reporting just over 13,000 of its customers offline. A man is charged with trying to entice two young girls in January in Bristol. They say Robert Darsh faces attempted kidnapping charges after he allegedly tried to lure the 10 and 11-year-old with money in a Dollar Tree parking lot in the Bristol Plaza back on January 11th. Investigation continues into an officer-involved shooting in Hartford that left a man dead Thursday. Police say they were in the middle of a firearms investigation on Homestead Avenue when a man pulled a gun and they opened fire. Charges have been filed against a man accused of making a threat to a local school. Canton police have arrested 23-year-old Colby Cordes. According to police, Cordes posted a Snapchat story with a picture of him holding a rifle and a caption reading, "Local schools better beware." Police say Cordes told them it was all a joke. They're not laughing. He's free on bond, facing breach of peace and threatening charges. President Trump says he is strongly considering levying new sanctions and tariffs on Russia for its war with Ukraine and is floating the possibility of applying new pressure on Moscow after the White House this week paused U.S. military aid and assistance to Kyiv. The president also says he sent a letter to Iran's Ayatollah, a development that was not immediately confirmed by the supreme leader, wanting to work on a nuclear deal. Trump making the comments in an interview on Fox Business News. Markets finished the week in positive territory. Dow was up 222 points today. NASDAQ gained 126, S&P up 31. Women's college basketball, the Big East tournament is underway at Mohegan Sun Arena. UConn plays on Saturday. Tonight, the Knicks try to bounce back from their loss to the Lakers last night, another late one on the coast against the Clippers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D1040145, D1185643, S330, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, let's do it.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
So in Middletown, Connecticut, there is a restaurant called Sicily coal-fried pizza. Again, Sicily coal-fired. I said fried. Fired pizza. I mean, I said their whole name wrong. They're not a sponsor. Anyway, so this is a very, very nice place from what I can see. It just opened in 2021. It really, really looks nice. And it looks like one of those places that you go to maybe on a date, maybe on a weekend, older couples only. You know, maybe a first date for somebody in their mid-20s, but it's very, very nice. And it's sort of those storefronts where it's like, you know, it's long as opposed to wide. So it's, you know, it's like a storefront restaurant, so it goes all the way into the back. But it's located in Middletown. Again, Sicily Coal-Fired Pizza is the name in Middletown. So apparently they are being sued by ASCAP. You know, that's the, you know, the organization that protects, you know, music rights. And here's why. So apparently they do live music at this location. So bands will come up there and play music. You know, so they'll sing a song. So apparently they were sent a cease and desist because some band played Ain't No Mountain High Enough, written by Ashford and Simpson, who I've met before. Actually, I had dinner with a long time ago. So at least 20, 25 years ago. Anyway, but you know, this place is being sued because they believe that live bands, or at least the location, the restaurant, should pay royalties for live bands to play music in their establishment. Now, I don't know about you. Maybe somebody can fill me in. I didn't think that was a thing. I've gone to bars and restaurants, plenty of places in my life. In fact, I have ex-girlfriend lives, well, I think she's in Milford, but I used to live, well, born and raised in Danbury. Anyway, she and I used to perform at a place called the Smallest Bar in New York, downtown Manhattan, and she would sing plenty of songs inside that establishment to an audience, and never once did anybody have to pay to license music from a live band. I've never heard anything like this in my life. So now they're saying that they're being sued, but the beauty of it is, I will tell you this, the beauty of the story is that they only are suing them for the rights to play the music, which I think is about $750 or something like that, like a year that you have to pay.
That's dumb.
Isn't it dumb? It sounds crazy.
It's a cover band.
Yes, exactly. It's a cover band. I would never imagine someone being forced to pay royalties for a cover band singing a song. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Can you believe that, Mark? Like, you've gone to see live band. Can you imagine if somebody had to pay to actually cover a record?
You know what? I'm a mobile DJ.
Okay.
And I get a service, and they send me music every month.
Okay.
And part of the service is you're paying the royalty fees.
Right. I have the same one. Mine's called Deezer. Or
Okay,
something like that. I know that there are plenty of them. It's sort of like they have another company called like DJ Pool, things like that you can
I
pay.
have a RPM, radio program music or whatever.
Okay.
It is, and it, you know, it's for DJs and yeah. So that when you get the subscription, you're paying for you're paying the royalty fees so you can play the music.
Exactly. So you can play it because
I don't mind. I don't mind paying because
Do you mind if I ask you what your? Do you mind if I ask you what your subscription is a month?
It's $55 a month.
That's a lot. You know what I was paying? $11.99.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I've been paying it forever, so I
Really?
really don't mind. It's part of the cost of doing business.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't get any crap for it.
Exactly. So if they say, "Well, come on down to my basement. I'll show you. I'll show you this. I've been buying the service. I've been getting CDs and DVDs since 1992. So
Holy
come
moly.
down and see all the music that I have that I paid for. So
Yeah, it makes. I just with this, I feel bad for this local business because it's a really, really nice place.
Yeah,
And not that they're not being like, what do you call it, bankrupted by this lawsuit.
No.
I just think it's ridiculous to do that to a local place that is giving something to its audience and helping them out. They should leave them alone. So,
but they're not gonna. So.
Yeah, of course. There she is.
Ashford and Simpson.
Yeah.
Great songwriters.
I want to give a shout out to Sicily Coal-Fired Pizza. If anybody down there knows you, we're supporting you, man. We support you.
That's right. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the eastbound side of I-84, you're going to see delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. Westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Bulkley
Brahma,
Bridge
you're
after
stupid.
45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 slows 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91's a good ride. Cromwell up into Windsor Locks. Mark Christopher with the I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Turning cloudy, chilly tonight, the low down to 34. Then as we make our way into the day on Saturday, windy with a mix of clouds and sun, the high 44. Sunday, clouds and sun again, the high 46. And milder on Monday with mostly sunny skies, the high up to 52. Right now, it's 40 in Mansfield, it's 44 in New London, 47 in New Haven, and 43 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
O'Reilly Veriscan is a free check engine light testing program that pulls from over 600 million vehicle scans confirmed by ASC certified technicians to provide a simple report and possible fixes available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Middlesex Health welcomes the Connecticut Golf Show March 21st through the 23rd at the Connecticut Convention Center. See golf exhibits, top-level manufacturers with Chris Cote's golf shops, huge sales, golf simulators, lesson zones, and more.
Right in the chat how to spell his last name.
Yeah.
Hi, Joel Johnson
Okay.
here with Johnson Brunetti. Hey, retirement income. Are you sure that you're maximizing your retirement income? Get the retirement income checklist from us, absolutely free. Text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. Again, call or text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. A checklist to maximize your retirement income.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
1 minute.
As much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at nordvpn.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDI.
Here we go.
Hearing.com.
Thank you.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. As promised, we were going to have two interviews today. And this gentleman is the campaign manager of the Trust Now Act campaign. You can find an article about him and his efforts in today's Hartford Current. He is Juan Fonseca Tapia. Juan, I'm going to screw that name up as many times as I try, sir. I apologize to you.
Hi, Rice. Yeah, it's Fonseca Tapia.
Yeah, okay. Fonseca Tapia. You have a much more beautiful accent than I do, so I'm going to probably, again, make that horrible. You're a part of this article primarily because your efforts are to protect illegals in the state, as you call them, undocumented, but, I'm not going to stop you from calling it if you don't stop me from calling them what I call them, because I think mine is accurate, but I'll be fair to you. Your effort is to stop them, and in the article in the Hartford Current, sir, you describe what's being done by the Trump administration and by Tom Homan in particular. You're calling it kidnapping in the article. Please explain to me what you mean by that.
Yeah, no, so I thank you for having me. And I know that this interview is for us to talk, right? And we don't have to agree on everything.
Of course.
But one of the things, though, that I do want to ask is if we are going to have this conversation about immigration, I do not. I think that the term illegals is dehumanizing, and I would be open to having a conversation with you if we refer to undocumented immigrants as immigrants who crossed the border and didn't have proper documentation. That it's different from illegal immigrants, which is a very dehumanizing.
Well,
term,
let's talk about
let's
talk about that if we Juan, let's talk about that if we could, because there's something interesting about how I found you, and it was a letter that you wrote about DACA individuals, and there's something interesting that you say. So I want you to hear me out when I say this. So in order for us to have a conversation, you would prefer that I not use the term illegals. But see, there's a big problem, and this is the duality that I don't understand in this argument. You see, you want people to come into this country and to be treated as citizens of the United States. But one of the tenets that come with being a citizen of the United States is our ability to have free speech. It is a right that each and every one of us, and it's an inalienable right that each and every one of us have. So you would love these people to celebrate and live in a society that allows them to have free speech, but yet you want to curtail it when it doesn't suit what you believe is proper or fair. So I don't understand how you, again, how you live on both sides of those fence. Do you want them to have the freedom to express their God-given right of free speech? Or do you want to curtail people's ability to have said free speech that you're fighting for these individuals?
I mean, I think that I am obviously in favor of having free speech, right? But I also think that we as humans have a moral responsibility of knowing what kind of speech could be hate speech, right? And could open up people for violence.
Okay.
At the end of the day, as you said, everyone it has the right to express themselves as they want to. However, language is powerful, right? And if we use language that dehumanizes certain groups of people, that sometimes opens the door for those groups of people that we're talking about to experience violence.
Right.
That is what I am saying.
Right.
I think that, and that would apply not to just undocumented immigrants. That would apply to any other group that has been marginalized and has experienced violence as the result of narratives that were created using hateful narratives.
Well, if we're on that subject, sir, then I want you to denounce the use of the word kidnapping. And let me explain to you why. Because again, anybody can interpret what's called hate speech. If ICE is going through the state of Connecticut to remove Trendy Aragua or MS-13 individuals or traffickers and coyotes and sex traffickers, child traffickers, labor traffickers in the state, and you are referring to the actions of the lawful authorities in this country to remove those violent people from the country as kidnappers, wouldn't you suggest that your language is inflammatory, hateful, and could incite violence?
Incite violence towards who?
Sir, you're accusing the federal government of kidnapping people. If I were to hear that as an undocumented person, to use your term, I would want to fight. Because remember, we're talking about kidnapping people. What would you do if your mother or your mom's passed? I apologize. I don't want to bring that up. But if there's somebody in your family you were under the belief that they were being kidnapped, would you just sit there idly and let it go by? Or would you do whatever you could to defend them from being kidnapped? Because kidnapping is an illegal act that you are suggesting the federal government is doing. Is kidnapping illegal? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're using inflammatory language to make a point, and yet at the same time, you wish to curtail the use of the word illegal because you call that hate speech. And I think that this is what we call hypocrisy, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad that we can see eye to eye on that one. You said something interesting.
No, we don't. But
we don't see eye to eye on that?
No, we don't. But again, if you want to, I would love to get to talk about what is it that we are.
Sure, let's talk
The
about
reason
let's
why
yes, let's
we
get
have
into
this
that. I'm
call, which
sorry,
is,
you didn't like the word that I used,
yeah.
and I do want to get into what we're talking about. Okay, so let me ask you this, and this is an important question for that we don't get an opportunity to ask a lot of the advocates for undocumented people in this country, and I think that it's an opportunity that I think you should take. Why is it that these individuals deserve to be in a country they've put no skin, or there's no skin in the game for those individuals? Why must their needs to be in this country be superseded by those who are in this country who are struggling, who are homeless, who are on the streets? Why should their needs be met? The folks you're representing, why should their needs be met before the needs of others, like homeless veterans, homeless children, the inner city communities? Why is it that they should get preferential treatment from our federal and local governments?
I'm just wondering where you get that idea from. That the advocates.
I'm looking at $1.3 billion.
asking.
I'm looking at $1.3 billion in the state being dedicated to undocumented individuals in the state. And we still have homeless people in the streets in places like Bridgeport and in Stafford, in Hartford. We have homeless veterans who cannot get care. We have people who are in the working poor in the city who cannot be subsidized. Yet we are taking resources that could help those individuals tenfold being maneuvered into the undocumented people in and around places like New Haven, Bridgeport, and other places around the state. I'm, again, trying to understand why there should be priority in undocumented people and not in the people who are already here struggling, who have more skin in the game than anyone else.
And since now that you shared that number, and could you repeat it again? I didn't get the number that you shared with me.
$1.3 billion.
And what is the source of this data?
The source is actually from an investigative journalist out of Connecticut Inside Investigator.
Okay. And by any chance, do you have do you have time to look up to see how much money did undocumented immigrants contribute in the past year or the past few years to the state of Connecticut?
Contribute to what, sir? They don't pay taxes. They don't have Social Security numbers.
So when people buy, right, like when we all buy stuff.
When you go to the grocery store and you pay a sales tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's taxes, right?
Okay.
And also, and the other thing is,
do you think they spend more on groceries?
I'm not sure.
Do you think they spend more on groceries?
There are people actually have tax ID numbers, which is not a Social Security number, but people can obtain a tax ID.
Oh no, I know
number,
what the numbers are, sir. I know what the numbers are, but contributing to, consuming, having a consumer tax, like by buying food, like things that they definitely need as necessities, that's one thing. But another thing is one, they're not on the books, so they don't have Social Security cards or birth certificates, so they get paid off the books. And then not to mention, a lot of their salaries are going back home to their native country. And then there's another part that you failed to mention, and people in your group failed to mention, is the fact that many of them who have been trafficked here are taking their money and they're paying traffickers. Why is it there is no attention being paid to the individuals who are used in trafficking rings in and outside this state? And we're talking large numbers of people who are in this state who are still paying off coyotes who got them into this country. Why is there no focus on that?
Again, I mean, I thought that when I was contacted by your radio station, the conversation that I thought that we were going to have was about the legislation that we're putting forward. I don't have information, and I can answer your questions about traffic rings or coyotes. That's I can answer those questions that you're asking me.
Well, Juan, with all due respect,
one of the things though that I do want to share with you.
Sure.
Is, so the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy made a report that showed that in 2022, undocumented immigrants in the state paid an estimated over $400 million in taxes.
They didn't pay in tax. No, sir, they did not. They did not pay $400 million in taxes. They just consumed $400 million worth of taxes by buying groceries and clothing. That's not the same thing. There are other individuals who pay car taxes. There are individuals in this state who pay property taxes. There are people in this state who are paying other things that are coming out of their pocket outside of their paycheck. They pay income taxes. They pay federal taxes. That is not the same thing. The people who are undocumented in this state have gotten a free ride of not having to pay the taxes that many people who obviously who have more rights to be here than anyone else because they are citizens, they are being taxed out the wazoo, and people who are in this country illegally who do not have any documentation to be here are only paying consumer taxes. It is not the same thing, so why would you treat it as the same?
Well, I know several people who are undocumented, and they do pay federal and state taxes with the tax ID number that I share with you.
Okay, all right. So they do. So what's the percentage of individuals who are in the state out of I think that
I do not have.
You need to have that number, sir. And it's not for me. Okay. It's a number you need to have. So when people have a conversation with you, you guys aren't just screaming to the rafters, let them in, without telling us what's the good that's going to be allowed, it's going to be benefited from the people who allow them in. That's the whole point of this argument and why people push back. And this is part of the reason why you guys don't have conversations with people who are in opposition, because these questions you can't answer for them. You refuse to tell people the important things. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So you're telling me that what I'm hearing is you telling me that you're in opposition. But again, I thought that we were going to have a conversation about the issue.
No, when I say that I'm in opposition.
What I'm hearing from you is that you're making an argument.
No, sir, I'm not making an argument. I'm actually having a conversation with someone who needs to be expressing to the rest of us, other than we need to just open our doors for people. I want to have an understanding of why we should, because other of us, see, what you're not concerned with, Juan, is our concern. The only thing you're concerned with are theirs. And again, in order for us, remember, you need to, what's the whole term? You need, you draw more flies with honey. You refuse to draw any of us onto your side. You just tell us that we have to accept them coming into this country. Don't call them illegal, call them undocumented. You want us to acquiesce to every one of your whims, but when it comes to what our needs are, you're ignoring them. Hold on for a second. We'll take a break real quick, and I want to wrap this up, and I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that. We're on with Juan Fonseca Tapia, who is the campaign manager for Trust Act Now on NewsTalk 1080. Jason Catarina is with your weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford South on 91, look for delays 34 down to 33, and you've got delays again down by exit 23 and 22 as you move down into Cromwell, and another delay as you move 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91's a little slow. You lose speed between 20 and 21 as you move Middletown into Cromwell. After that, easy ride Hartford up into Windsor. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, delays approaching the Bulky Bridge out to 44. 84 eastbound slows just after 44 down into the tunnel. 291 through 84 looking good. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 up to the 84 west merge. Good ride through Middletown. 84 westbound in Cheshire. Look for slow traffic 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound. Got some slow traffic as you move up between exit 5 and exit 9 in Newtown. We've had an accident. Looks like it's 84 eastbound between 8 and 9 on the Danbury-Newtown line. Again, delays 84 eastbound in Newtown 10 to 11. Now, if you are southbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, you're going to see slow traffic from exit 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound Parkway, some slow traffic approaching 59 into the West Rock, and 95 South New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Following a road closures because of the storms that have knocked down, well, I shouldn't say the storms, I should say the high winds that have knocked down power lines throughout the state. In Hebron, Route 94 shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton town line. In Manchester, Route 6 and 44 is shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Road. In Lebanon, Route 207 shut down near Levita Road. Scotland, Route 14 is shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. In Montville, Route 82 is shut down at Doyle Road. In New Hartford, you've got 219 shut down at Ratlam Road. And in Wellington, Route 32 is shut down at George Drive. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Bristol police have arrested a man for allegedly trying to pick up two young girls at a local shopping plaza in January. 66-year-old Robert Darsh is charged. Detectives say they responded to the Farmington Avenue Dollar Tree in the Bristol Plaza back on January 11th after the 10 and 11-year-old girls told their parents Darsh showed them money and asked them to follow him to his car. Investigators obtained video footage of the suspect's vehicle with a decal similar to one thought to be on Darsh's car. They also say Darsh was captured on video following and approaching the children inside the Dollar Tree store. He faces charges of attempted kidnapping, bond set at $150,000. Authorities in New Mexico say actor Gene Hackman's wife died a week before he did in their New Mexico home. Betsy Arakawa died February 11th from a rare disease spread by rodent droppings, they say. Prescription pills were found next to her body in the bathroom. Chief Medical Examiner Heather Jarrell.
Pills present on scene were thyroid medication, which were being taken as prescribed and is not currently a concern for a contributory cause of death.
The 95-year-old Hackman had a pacemaker with last activity reported February 18th.
There is no reliable scientific method to accurately determine the exact time or date of death.
He died of heart disease compounded by severe Alzheimer's. Authorities quickly ruled out foul play in the deaths. It's been a windy day around here in Connecticut, and we've still got that wind advisory up for another couple of hours or so. Gusts approaching and even surpassing 50 miles an hour reported in parts of the state today. Now, those winds are expected to decrease, but it'll remain breezy throughout the weekend. It's also been doing a number on the power situation, but Eversource is beginning to whittle that number down. Last check, they had just shy of 13,000 of their customers without service. Democratic state senators are asking the Inspector General to investigate President Trump's layoffs at the IRS. Trump and Elon Musk plan a 50% cut to the agency's workforce on top of the recent firing of about 7,000 people. Senator Chris Murphy says the layoffs are a green light for high-end tax evaders.
But by telegraphing that Donald Trump is taking the cops off the beat, it is an invitation for the very wealthy and for the corporations to try to get away with tax cheating.
Murphy and his colleague, Senator Richard Blumenthal, in Hartford today, saying the Biden administration's investments in the IRS led to the recovery of $1.3 billion from tax cheats. They also say the firings will slow down the IRS during tax processing season, and that could delay refunds. New numbers out regarding one of the largest measles outbreaks ever in Texas. Reporter Chris Fox has more from Austin.
We're looking at 198 total cases now reported in and around Gaines County, Texas. It's about 90 miles southwest of Lubbock. We've seen an additional 39 confirmed cases since Tuesday. More than 150 are 17 years old and younger, 80 unvaccinated, another 113 with unknown status. One school-age child has died. Just across the border in New Mexico, they're reporting 30 more cases and the death of an unvaccinated adult. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
Wall Street, the Dow finished up 222 points today. The NASDAQ gained 126, and the S&P was up 31 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Ben, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and you've heard me talk a lot about how low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction, and if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating a low T could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back that flame aim and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Northeast Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Just stand by for a minute. We'll go back into our conversation with Juan Fonseca Tapia. He is, again, the campaign manager for the group Trust Act Now campaign. Of course, the chat room is going off the off the rails with so much stuff. Lori, by the way, Lori, too much information for me to dissect during the interview, but thank you for all of it. I'll see if I can use any of it at any time because she's inundating me with info on the subject. By the way, I know that Juan is on hold, but I do want him to understand this when we get back from the break, and I'll explain that in a second. First, I want to let everybody know that you can win a cruise on the Disney Destiny cruise for 4 people if you download the Odyssey app. If you haven't done it yet, you have to listen on the app at least 1 hour a day, every day of the week. Reese on the radio is a great place to start. Do that every day, and of course, you'll be entered, your chance to enter. Also, the last but not least caller of the day is coming up, where you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, just by calling 860-522-WTIC. I want to make this clear because I don't know if Juan may feel like he's being railroaded or sabotaged. There is no railroad or sabotage here. This is a conversation, unfortunately, and we've experienced this in Connecticut a lot, so I want to make this clear. We do not have opposing sides having conversations about what's going on in the state of Connecticut, if not the country. One of the main reasons why is because one group refuses to talk to the other. And many people will go on these other places where nobody challenges them, nobody pushes back on them, no one asks for an explanation as to why we should all have our lives changed or our neighborhoods changed or the way in which we live changed for certain individuals. Why do they get preferential treatment? Why is it that we have to acquiesce to those? What makes them so important in a world where everyone is equal? So in order for us to get someplace, you have to convince them, win hearts and minds. That's what these conversations are about. We have our beliefs, you have yours. In order for us to get to a common place, we must debate them. Can't be about it's hate speech or I don't like it when you said it. No, it's about having an open conversation. Everybody says they want to have a conversation until the conversation comes and everybody runs. Let's not run. Let's have a conversation and let's be real, okay? Jason Caterina has your weather. But Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford, Southland, and one's a little slow, 33, down at 32 A and B. And again, another brief slowdown down by exit 28 on the Hartford-Wethersfield line. Now, if you're traveling on the northbound side of I-91, you're going to see a good ride as you move Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, it's okay. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Middletown, quiet, just a little slow southbound 9 as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. You'll see a little slow traffic now in Meriden, 91 southbound approaching 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross. Westbound 84 is sluggish in Cheshire from 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, a brief slowdown by exit 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury, you'll see slow traffic from 5 up to exit 9 in Newtown, and again some slow traffic 84 eastbound in Newtown from 10 up to exit 11. By the way, look out for an accident between 8 and 9 on the Danbury-Newtown line on 84 East. If you're heading southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays now from exit 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slowing in New Haven, 46 down to 44. Following a road closures because of the high winds and the wires coming down, Hebron Route 94 is shut down between Route 85 and Bolton Road, and Manchester Route 6 and 44 shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Road. If you are traveling in Lebanon, Route 207 shut down near Levita Road. In Scotland, Route 14 is shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. In Montville, Route 82 is closed at Doyle Road. New Hartford 219 shut down at Ratlam Road. And in Willington, Route 32 is shut down at George Drive. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it'll be turning cloudy with the wind subsiding some tonight. The low down to 34. Then on a windy day again as we head into Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 44. Warming trend kicking off Sunday, albeit slowly. The high 46 with a mix of clouds and sun. 52 for Monday, though. Then Tuesday, partly sunny and warmer. The high up to 65 for us. Right now, it is 45 in New London, 39 in Mansfield, 43 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. My good friend Phil just finished week 3 of Awaken 180 weight loss. Your ballpark number now that you're thinking is what in total?
I'd say 20, 21 or more. The weight just keeps coming off.
Wow. Here we go, Phil. Awaken180weightloss.com.
It's time to spring ahead. Thomaston Savings Bank reminds you to set your clocks ahead an hour before you go to sleep Saturday night.
Middlesex Health welcomes the Connecticut Golf Show March 21st through the 23rd at the Connecticut Convention Center. See golf exhibits, top-level manufacturers with Chris Cote's golf shops, huge sales, golf simulators, lesson zones, and more. For details, ConnecticutGolfShow.com.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth from Money Wisdom. Tune in this week and every week to gain a better understanding of taxes, retirement income, and long-term care. The Money Wisdom, Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When it comes to great deals on tax prep, Jackson Hewitt.
Hold on a minute.
And neither
Thank you.
is this commercial. Their offer is so big, it has to be said with Reverb. Expert tax prep for $149 or less. It's a deal so spectacular.
That's funny, Ben.
It needs a symphony, some explosions, and a clock ticking. Because this offer, $149 or less. And soon, one expert tax prep for $149 or less. Try Jackson Hewitt today and save. Whew. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee. If your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We will get to your phone calls because I know the phone lines are lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm not going to let you get in on this conversation, but we're going to continue to have it, and I appreciate him sticking around. Mr. Juan Fonseca Tapia is on the line. Again, he is the campaign manager for the group called Trust Act Now. Juan, so I know you heard me because, again, these are the tough conversations we have to have, and we don't get to talk to the people who are advocates for undocumented in this state or even around the country because they don't want to tell us or at least convince us why we should have these people in our country and why we should forego taking care of the people who are already here first. And I don't know, you say that you weren't prepared to have that conversation. I'm under the impression that you only wanted to have a conversation that was positive or that was, I guess, going to more or less endorse the idea of working for undocumented people. Is that the impression you got?
No, right. And just to clarify something, I am one of the organizers for the campaign, not the campaign manager.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
just-
sorry.
just wanna
That's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
You're one
just
of the
want to make-
organizers.
just want to.
You are one
yeah,
of the
just
most.
want to make that.
You are one of the most vocal, and
Just
you.
want to make that clear.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. So why? I mean, what I'm trying to understand is why aren't you having conversations? Because again, I get that the news media is very desirous for you to reach your goal of supporting and keeping undocumented people in the state and making sure that they have a pathway to citizenship and somehow. But there are people in opposition in this state and around the country that are not having conversations with you or your groups. And I kind of feel like you guys avoid them like the plague. Is there a reason for that? Or is that because you don't want to have conversations with us?
No, I mean, I don't avoid them. And again, it's not that I'm not trying to have the conversation that you are wanting to have. When I received the phone call about this interview, I thought that we were going to be speaking about specifically of the Trust Act. What is it that we are looking at, and what are some of the things that we are having hearing from different groups, including police departments, public health departments, and looking at this issue from a broader lens.
Well, the
You
police.
have not asked me any questions.
Let's talk about the
regarding
police aspect.
that.
Let's talk about the police aspect of the Trust Act. And I think what you folks are trying to achieve, correct me if I'm wrong, is a relationship with undocumented and the police department. So in essence, if crimes are committed against them, that they can come forward to the police without some sort of like retribution, someone calling ICE or having them detained until ICE comes, and then having them, your words, not mine, kidnapped from their families. Is that some of the things that you're trying to facilitate through the Trust Act?
No, I mean, well, the Trust Act, as you know, it was first introduced and passed in 2013 and then revised again in 2019. And part of the reason why it was introduced the first time was because of the anti-immigrant laws and the immigration rates that were happening throughout the state in cities like Denver and New Haven. And one of the things that, as I said, different agencies, different organizations, and community saw was that people were afraid. And when people were afraid, that had an impact on public health in many different aspects, right? And you mentioned crime. If people don't feel safe, that they can call 911 if they are having an emergency, whether it's a medical emergency, whether it is if they were victim of a crime or if they witnessed crime, then they were not calling the police. So
they're
so
not
that's
calling them
what
now,
was going-
Juan. They're not calling them now.
Well, that's what was going on. And I mean, actually, so I had a conversation with the police chief, with police chiefs from around the state. And one of the things they have said is that they have worked really hard on building relationships with everyone in the community, so they feel that they can call the police whenever they need it.
But I understand what you're trying to do. Don't get me wrong. I get it. And I love the effort that you're trying to put across, and the police chiefs and everybody else is saying, look, we need to make sure that these people are going to be protected in the event that they call and if a crime is committed against them. But what we know for a fact, and this isn't just a bunch of blather, we know for a fact that people are continuously being trafficked. We know that there's gang activity. We know that they're being not just sexually trafficked, but they're also being labor trafficked. We also know that they're living in a very, very poor conditions. These people do not go to the police because, and I'll tell you why, part of the reason is groups like yours. Because in one level, you're trying to get legislation passed so they contact police, but you're also exacerbating the idea that they cannot, so they do not. And we know because we've been covering stories about, we've got a story now that we're covering. I mean, we're talking about hard hitting, where we believe that there have been administrators, if not teachers, in the Hartford School District who have been, let's just say, assaulting children in the special needs program, people who do not speak English, who may indeed be undocumented, and it's not being reported to the police. And we do believe that there are people who are keeping them from reporting it to police because they can't go to it. But because of efforts like yours, we cannot even get those children who never should be harmed the help that they need because, again, they're living in the shadows. And by saying things like you did in that Hartford Current article, that they're being kidnapped is not helping. You're having conversations with people who agree with you and not talking to people who can help you. And what I mean by that is, in order for the community to embrace undocumented or illegal people in there, you have to ask their consent, and you're not doing that. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You're not asking their consent. You're telling them to accept it or else.
Okay.
Your response?
I don't, as I said, right, you still have not asked a question about the piece of legislation that we are discussing, or the piece of legislation that
I'm
was
sorry, what
discussed
are
in
you
the
telling me that your
articles you're
wheelhouse,
referring to.
Juan, are you telling me that your wheelhouse is only the legislation, that you are not versed in this issue beyond the legislation?
No, of course I am.
Then let's
Of
talk
course
about that.
I-
Why do
I
we have to
understand
just
it.
talk
Of
about
course-
the, well, no,
of-
no, no.
of
Why do
course
we
I
just have
understand.
to talk about the legislation? Why can't we talk about how in which the people who are in the country illegally are affecting the towns and the municipalities they're in? Why can't you address that? Do you not want to, or do you not care?
Well, do you want to tell me in what ways? Since it seems like that again, you know a lot.
I
about
just
these
told
issues.
you
wanna-
that the people who are being hurt the most are the people that you're protecting. We know of stories. Right now, we have 2 people on trial in Bridgeport who have been labor trafficking. They held 5 people against their will in homes, making them spend all of their, give these traffickers all of their money, make them do household chores, do labor in and around businesses, and give all of their cash to these individuals who have trafficked them in labor. And we know that that's happening all over the place. We got another story from the Uni company that is alleging that we had illegal immigrants who were living in the warehouse without proper, what's the name, heating or water or any shelter whatsoever. They're living in a warehouse. These things that are hurting the individuals you claim to be helping. And at least the rest of us who don't want illegal immigration in our country care more about these people than the ones who are fighting the most for them. And there has to be a conversation about why.
So how do you think that we can solve these issues?
I just told you. Let's stop it. Let's knock it off with the whole kidnapping and screaming and hollering, and let's get people on your side. Have conversations with them that explain to us, 1, who's here and why. Who are those people? Because again, that's another thing. We don't even know who these people are, and you refuse to tell us. And when we ask, people don't seem to know anything. We're asking the mayors, we're asking councilmen, we're asking state reps. We say, how many people are living in New Haven that are undocumented? Do you know what they tell us? We don't know because we don't ask. Why not? Shouldn't you know who's living next door to you? Shouldn't you know who it is who's entering your house or entering your property? I'm just trying to understand why the rest of us can't know. Like what? Like we're such bad guys because we want to know who's in our country and who's in our communities, and if our children and families, our mothers, our fathers, our daughters are safe. We're not asking too much. We're asking what any normal person would ask. But instead, we're called haters and kidnappers.
Okay, got it. Well, thank you so much for the call. I really appreciate it. I appreciate for
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. All right, peace out. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Again, no, none of those issues, they don't care about them. And again, that's when you put that stuff on Front Street for these people that claim that they care, they don't. They never do. The concerns of the individual, give us what we want or else. The people who they claim they're fighting for, they don't have to know who they are. They don't have to know the number of people who are in the country or in the state illegally. They don't have to. The only thing they have is the usual nonsense. And that is, oh, they should be allowed to be here because they seek refuge. That's it. Well, we have some questions. Well, your questions are racist. Well, we're concerned about our communities. We're concerned about our children and our families. Oh, that's racist to want to be safe. And then they lie to us and say, well, these people are safer than your neighbors anyway. Complete strangers from third world countries. We have no idea who they are or where they came from, but they're a lot safer than your neighbors. People who've lived next door to you 3, 4, 5, 10 years, nah. These people are far more safe. It's incredible to watch this nonsense. Let me end this on a high note. I'm going to White Mike. All right, don't get me canceled. What's going on, White Mike?
Oh, man. So what Jose Jimenez there is afraid to admit is he's only concerned with this because the people who are the invaders are brown people who speak his language.
That's it.
That's it. It's racial. If we were being inundated with 10 million, Hungarians, he wouldn't give a damn.
Right.
All these people, all these Hispanic activists who are crying about these poor, undocumented slaves, which is what they are.
Yep.
They're slaves, only care about future demographics because they know that these people are not going to vote for a future Ted Cruz.
Right.
They're going to vote for a future Julian Castro.
That's right.
Another far-left communist. who's
Isn't that
gonna push their
wild?
Communist ideals.
Isn't that wild that they're going to take the politics that pretty much caused them to flee and bring it right back here? Can I read something to you? Can I read something to you from a letter? This is interesting because I wanted to bring this up, but he hung up, of course. So apparently how we got his telephone number was a letter that he wrote to the members of the Higher Education and Employment Advancement Committee of the Connecticut General Assembly. And he writes this article talking about how he came to the country when he was 19 years old and how his mother didn't have an education and she passed away. Anyway, but here is the last part of his missive, Mike, that makes it so wild. And I'm going to post this on Facebook so you can read it. I will etch out his number. This is why I'm asking you to take all of those things into consideration when you make a decision, and remember that you will be giving the chance to many dreamers of achieving their dream of conquering the American dream. And I went, conquering the American dream? That's a purposeful description. Conquering it?
Yeah, that is exactly correct. This is an invasion. This is no different than the Moors sweeping across Europe and conquering Sicily, or Genghis Khan conquering the known world. They're spreading their soldiers, and their weapon is going to be reproduction.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a numbers game. And all the stupid liberal white people who are in favor of this are just people who have bought the communist, liberal, mainstream media program.
Yeah.
And they're anti-white.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's demographic Harry Carey. That's exactly what it is.
And when you import the third world, we said it before, you get the third world.
That's exactly right.
Places succeed because of the population that lives there. That's it. That's the reason that Ghana is a hellhole and Iceland is a paradise. It's because of who lives there.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. I got to go to a break, but thank you as well. That's why I wanted to take his call. He always knows how to wrap it all up. Jason Caterina's got your weather coming up, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Center with traffic. How we doing, Mark?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound is tied up a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the downtown tunnel. If you're traveling southbound 91's a little tight getting by 33 Jennings Road. Another bump down by exit 28, and some slow traffic again from 20 in Middletown down to the exit 17 down in Meriden for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91, good ride, Cromwell up into Windsor Locks. No problems, 291, 384, 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. A good ride through Middletown, 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slowing from 25A up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, slow traffic now from exit 5 in Danbury out to just east of exit 9 in Newtown. Delays again 10 to 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound 95 slows 48 down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound New Haven slowing 3 in toward the 95 interchange. And the Parkway southbound delays from exit 62 down into the area of exit 60 in Hamden. Following road closures are from trees and wires down. Hebron, Route 94 shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton Town Line. Manchester 6 and 44 is shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Road. In Lebanon, 207 shut down at Levita Road. Scotland, Route 14 shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. In Montville, Route 82 shut down at Doyle Road. In New Hartford, 219 is closed at Ratlam Road. And in Wellington, Route 32 shut down at George Drive. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of our Friday afternoon, partly sunny and cooler with strong winds gusting past 40 miles an hour, and those strong winds could cause localized power outages, down trees, and a blowover risk for high-profile vehicles. The high of 43. Thickening clouds tonight with the low down to 34. Still windy as we head into the weekend Saturday with a mix of clouds and sun, the high back to 43. Sunday, not as windy with clouds and sun, the high of 44. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Yeah, those windy conditions expected to persist for a little while longer. The wind advisory is up until 7. The gusts have been upward of 50 miles an hour in some places. That has done a number on power outages, though Eversource has been whittling the number down. They're down to about 11,500. State Inspector General's office has assumed the investigation into a fatal police-involved shooting in Hartford that left a man dead Thursday. They were conducting a firearms investigation on Homestead Avenue when a suspect pulled a gun, they say, and 3 officers opened fire. The person's name has not been released. Bristol police have a man under arrest for allegedly trying to pick up a couple of young girls at a shopping plaza in town back in January. 66-year-old Robert Darsh faces charges of attempted kidnapping after trying to lure the 10 and 11-year-old girls into his car back on January 11th, they say. Authorities have revealed that actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease and showed signs of severe Alzheimer's disease a full week after his wife died of hantavirus in their home. The chief medical examiner says both deaths were ruled to be from natural causes. Authorities initially ruled out foul play. Hackman's death was tied to heart disease with Alzheimer's contributing. Authorities linked Betsy Arakawa's death to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. It's a rare but potentially fatal disease that is often spread by infected rodent droppings. Ukrainian officials say Russia had targeted energy facilities with dozens of missiles and drones in a nighttime attack. The barrage crippled the country's ability to deliver heat and light to its citizens and to power facilities, weapons factories vital to its defenses. Markets finished the week in positive territory. The Dow gained 222 points today. The Nasdaq was up 126, and the S&P gained 31 points. Women's college basketball, the Big East tournament underway at Mohegan Sun. UConn will play tomorrow in a semifinal. NBA, the Knicks continue their West Coast trip in L.A. tonight against the Clippers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Celebrate Ashley's 80th anniversary by getting a great night's sleep. Buy a Beauty Rest Black mattress and get a free adjustable base, putting the luxury of custom comfort and function at your fingertips. Plus, enjoy even more flexibility with 80-month special financing on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Don't miss the Ashley 80th anniversary sale going on now. Shop in-store and online. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Celebrate twice as much. VPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at nordvpn.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes.
When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy 100th birthday, WTIC. Happy birthday to us.
We are back. It's Reese on the radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Don't forget, you could be our last but not least caller of the day, so you can win a dozen bagels a week. Sorry, a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. Do I have time? You know what? I'm going to get to my good friend. We might as well call him my best friend. Why not at this point? You know, my best friends always refer to me by my last name. Jamie Montgomery did it, and TJ Anderson used to do it. We used to refer to each other by our last name all the time, and Matt started doing it, and I immediately grew affection for him as a friend. So let's talk to Matt in Bristol. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How are you doing?
I love it. What's going on, sir?
So I first called about Michael Leibowitz, but now I can't because of that last.
You made you forget all about Michael Leibowitz, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, what you just did was an absolute masterclass.
Thank you.
Because you dealt with him with kindness and integrity and intellectual integrity. I mean, and you let him not be able to answer questions, but you did it with such kindness, and you let him dig his own grave. And that was an absolute masterclass. That's how you deal with liberals.
I don't think that he was prepared. And I think that when I set it up, I said to him that I guess he was under the impression that most of the people he communicates with are people who are in agreement with him or in agreement with him. And he had never really had pushback or had been questioned about his stance or what he believes in. And I gave him ample opportunity. I called him at 10 o'clock this morning, and he asked, "What's your name?" And I told him Reese on the radio. And literally after I hung up the phone, I said, he's going to look me up. He's not going to call. And he did. And I went, okay, so he's prepared. And then to know that he had no interest in any of the things that, of course, are very important to the conversation of illegal immigration in this country, to know that not only was he not prepared, but he didn't know the answer to those questions it's an illustration of the fact that they don't care about who it hurts, even the people they're fighting for.
But in a wider scope, I don't care if you're talking to Lamont or Murphy or any liberal, that same format that you just did would work with any of them. Let them talk, and you let them not answer simple questions, even when you ask it with utmost kindness and respect.
Yeah.
Because they can't answer the questions because there is no answer to the question.
That's indeed it. Thank you, best friend. I'm going to embarrass you with that. I'm going to embarrass you with that quite a bit, my friend. Just to let everybody know, Tim thinks that my interview style is very aggressive. I would like someone to call the mayor, Mayor Arunin, and promote Tim in Hamden to detective. Spot on, genius. I am aggressive. You're not breaking any news here, sir. Let's get a check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now and you're on the westbound side of I-84, look for delays approaching just after 56, right out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the Hartford Tunnel. Southbound 81 a little slow, 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, you'll see another bump down in Meriden, 19 down to 17. Northbound 91 looking real good, Cromwell up into Windsor. 291, 384, no issues east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlborough. Quiet in Middletown. 84 westbound in Cheshire, some slow traffic, 26 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury, slowing from approaching exit 8 out to exit 11 in Newtown. On the southbound side of the parkway, look for delays now from 63 in North Haven down to exit 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound slowing from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. And look out for an accident 95 southbound in Waterford between exit 82 and 81. The right lane's blocked there. Now, we do have some road closures out there due to the high winds, tree and wires down in Hebron. Route 94 shut down between Route 85 and the Bolton Town Line. Manchester 6 and 44 shut down between Lake Street and Greenwood Drive. Lebanon Route 207 shut down near Levita Road. Scotland Route 14 is shut down between Devotion Road and Bass Road. Montville Route 82 is shut down at Doyle Road. In New Hartford 219 shut down at Ratlin Road. And in Wellington, Route 32 is shut down at George Street. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Turning cloudy tonight, the low down to 34. Then a windy day on Saturday with clouds and sun, the high 44. A warming trend begins on Sunday, albeit slowly, the high 46 with a mix of clouds and sun. But Monday, mostly sunny, the high up to 52. Tuesday, warmer, the high up to 65. Right now, 46 in New Haven, 45 in Meriden. It's 43 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and on your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Northeast Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio.
Woman.
Gutter Protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter for your free gutter.
All right, here we go.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back. We're about to get out of here for a weekend to remember. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I want to give a thank you to Mike Leibowitz for being on the program. And Juan Fonseca Tapia as well for being on the program. It was worth trying, even if to get a little bit of a conversation out of him to figure it out. Tim, I don't really understand the bigotry and the racist from liberals and racism from liberals. I want to read you exactly what I don't. And people, listen, let me explain something to you. I don't think that liberals are stupid. I just don't think that they're smart. There's a difference. When somebody says something like, Reese talks over a limited English speaker and is very aggressive, most people are not used to a crossfire aggressive yelling matchup, to which I did. There was no yelling done at all. Also making claims like not a lot of Pedros and Juans. This is coming from a liberal, okay? Or are you friendly to new guests with limited English? You see, I don't take someone with limited English and think that in somewhat they are impaired. I understood and I heard Juan's accent when I called him. I was not under the impression because he did not speak English well that he was some sort of denunt. I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he was one of the most intelligent people in the world who was fighting for a cause that he believed in. If you thought that he couldn't keep up, that's because he couldn't keep up with the facts. That's it. And he got railroaded. So instead of you just accepting the fact that he got railroaded because he was ill-prepared or unprepared, that's on him. So you'd rather put it on me, fully prepared, than on the person who showed up here with no weapon. Okay? That's all it is. All he needed was the weapons, and that's the facts, and be able to discern them or discern my questions when given to him. He did not. He could not because he wasn't prepared. That's on him. That's not on me. You don't beat up on the guy who's like, we don't blame Tom Brady for your quarterback sucking. That's not how it works. Now, with that, to the phones. Thomas in Thomaston. How we doing, sir?
Hey, Reese. Hey, after this call, I am calling the radio murder police because you slayed that guy in the first minute, and then you laid out all his false flags for the rest of the debate. And that man was not unintelligent.
No.
He was smart enough to be able to deflect every question that he didn't want to answer. He had a deflection for it. So that man was intelligent. He knew what he was doing. He didn't want to answer your tough question.
That's all. That's all. And I know that because I thought that, again, he only wanted to talk about the act. And again, as I said, how are any of those issues, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, how are those things not important to the conversation when we're talking about the Trust Act, which in essence is an act that's supposed to make it safe for these individuals who are having those things happen to them, contact police. That's all. So
he wasn't used to probably having some some pushback on his position.
Exactly.
And he didn't like it.
I know, and I think the truth is that the legislation is the important thing, not how we get to the legislation actually working. Because we can have legislation pass bills all day, but if it has no effect on the person it's supposed to serve, it's empty legislation. So
it is.
I don't know. That's exactly where I'm coming from. But I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for listening.
I will say, my mother had a saying, patience of a saint. You got the patience of a saint. Because I would have hung up. That guy made my blood boil. I would have hung up after the second refusal.
Thank you, man. You too. Let's go to Adam, who's in East Hartford. How are you, Adam?
Hey, Reese, I want to be your second best friend.
Well, you know what? You can absolutely have it because you know what? The dais is empty. So if you want to join the best friend club, you absolutely could.
Yeah. Hey, what I called about, I hope it's not too boring, but two things, the daylight savings time change. I hate the change back.
Okay.
The spring forward, the losing the hour of sleep, but I know why they do it. Because when I was, I'm a little older than you, but when I was a kid in the school and Nixon was in office and with the energy crisis, we were going to school in the dark when they tried leaving daylight savings time year round.
Right. I will say this, but you know what? It's funny because I keep hearing, like, as soon as I got in my car and I turned on the news radio station, they were talking about daylight saving time at the top of the news because I leave at exactly 8 o'clock so I can get the news. I can get the top of the hour news break. And the guy was talking about how there's this depression thing and we have this suicide situation with daylight savings. You know why it doesn't affect me? Because I go to bed too early to care. It's like I'm in bed by 9. Like may not be sleep, but I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. And if by the time I'm in bed, it doesn't matter whether or not you push the hour back or forward. It doesn't affect me because I'm getting enough sleep. So it never affects me. It's weird.
Yep.
So that's why I tell people.
You bet. And what do you think of Putin provoking Trump?
Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I just saw the thing on this, but we were so late into the show, I couldn't get into it because then it would take it into another direction. I'm going to talk about it on my Sunday show and definitely on Monday.
You bet. Hey, have a good night, sir.
Thank you, man. You too. Let's go to, my friend Kim is in Cromwell. Hello, Kim. How are you? I miss Kim's raspy voice. Hi, Kim.
Great show there, Reese. Really good interview.
Thank you.
Point one, the United States wants people only to come through legal channels.
Yep.
Okay? When they facilitate illegal stuff, it's usually because somebody has a vested interest in it. And I've said it year after year. The Democratic Party cannot survive without a subservient class of people,
that's right,
low-skilled, illiterate, so that they can create programs and redistribute money from the taxpayer to them and then say, hey, put my name on a building because I do this. Okay? What this guy doesn't seem to realize, he tried to talk about the economic input. No, what the American citizen is saying is we want people who are going to pay income tax,
indeed,
property tax, license fees, registration fees, not nominal sales tax. You know, this is a poor class of people. They're not going to be buying furniture sets and $3,000 plasma TVs and theater stations. Very few will have a car. So just going to the grocery store is not going to really fuel the United States economy. That is just a narrative.
And think about the number that he used. Think about the number that he used. He said $400 million they contribute in paying taxes. And we're talking about sales taxes. If they contributed the way that average citizens did in those things you're talking about, policy, property taxes, insurance, whatever the case may be, if they were contributing that, everybody here would be saying, wow, look at what they're doing for the economy. They're bringing the price of everything for us down. Right. But they're not.
I got the sense that they have a feeling of entitlement. And that's why the folks resented it. The more they let them in, the more they get comfortable. They just think we owe them health care. They can walk into a clinic, a hospital, an emergency room treatment, and have everything done at our expense. They can put their kids in school, okay, and not own any property and contribute, even if they rented and had no car.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be contributing anything in property tax. What about fire and police, roads and bridges?
Exactly.
That's what they don't get. And again, we would rather have a high standard. We want people to assimilate. And when you have a high standard, when they get in, they feel more appreciative that they would give back. But when you just do things, just feel sorry for us, okay, that only benefits politicians.
That's right.
It doesn't benefit the folks. And I'll leave you with one last example, the difference, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I currently study Swedish in Manhattan.
Okay.
I go down once a week, okay? My instructor is somebody who is a citizen now of the United States, came here 25 years ago as an actor, English major. Started her own business as a Swedish instructor. Full-fledged citizen, taxpayer, runs her own business, makes a living. Hello?
Yeah, there you go. That's all the example that you need.
Done.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Kim. I love hearing her voice. This is a very, very important part about that. Again, having known people who've, my sister-in-law, Helen, who came into this country in the back of a car, okay? Smuggled into the country in the back of a car. She is a full-fledged citizen now. I understand this better than most. I will tell you this. There is a benefit into my conversation with Juan. There is a benefit. One, he's listening right now. I know he's listening right now. Two, he'll have a better argument next time when someone pushes back on him. What he got was a lesson in how to answer the questions that people are concerned with. He will go back and he will study. What did he ask me? What were those questions? What are their concerns? And now he'll know how to respond to them. Not that it'll change his mind, but he'll know what to say. So this may have been beneficial to him in a lot of ways and could be very beneficial to us because he's got to run back and tell those people, yeah, I did this interview with that guy over at WTIC, and he has some very, very pointed question. Oh, he's obviously a hater, but these things are on his mind. He'll be back. He'll be back, even if it's the hate. That's the way I look at it, even if it's the hate. All right, now it's time for our last but not least caller of the day. And it is Sheila from Broadbrook. Sheila is the recipient of our dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, your bagel, bakery, and sandwich cafe in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. How are you, Sheila?
Well, I'm fine. I actually didn't call about the bagels, but
well, no, I'm going to call in. Of course, you're going to answer. I mean, you can say anything you want. I just wanted to get you in so I can give you the bagels, and then you can give your comment.
Well, I'm a home care CNA, and I deal with this subject every day, sometimes all day long. And I'm, an independent voter, basically kind of conservative.
Okay.
And what you did for me today was give me the words, because I've stumbled around this topic for months and maybe a year.
Wow.
And now I feel, I have actually took notes at the stoplights because I was on the way to the vet. Yeah, I really did. Because now I know exactly what I want to say. I wanted to say all the things that you said.
But you couldn't find how to articulate them, or they were...
Yeah, it just wasn't coming out as precise.
Gotcha.
It sounded more like I was just being emotional, because I'm the daughter of immigrant people, and I know what they went through, to become citizens. My grandparents, some even closer, some uncles and aunts and things.
Yeah.
And all I can say is that guy was brave to come on.
Right.
Because they don't seem to have the substance, like you said, to actually have a good dialogue.
Right.
They just come with their emotions that this is a good thing and I want to do it.
Well, you have to think of it like a nightclub, Sheila. You have to think of it like a lot of these liberals, these champagne liberals are like going to the nightclub, and the bouncer always pulls the velvet rope back to allow them in. They don't have to pay admission. Yep. They don't have to, they get right into the VIP lounge and everything is comped.
Right.
And then they come to Club Reese on the radio, where everyone has to validate their reason to come in. And then they get here and they go, wait a minute, I'm not used to this. I'm usually just ushered in, like I'm practically carried in when I come to the door. And then when that happens, they're completely flummoxed and they're going, gosh, I've never had to fight for entry. So that's where we are today.
Right.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate you. I got to put you on hold. Roland is going to get all your information to get your bagels. As I always say, folks, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good weekend, pleasant tomorrow, pleasant Sunday. Jason Catarinas has got your weather for the weekend. And Mark Christopher is going to get you home in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. Have a great weekend.
Same to you, Reese. Thank you. If you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Boulter Bridge out to 40
All right, good sir.
I am not going to lie. This is probably one of my favorite Fridays ever. I don't feel bad about going off on the weekend. I really had fun today.
Into Meriden, a little.
That was.
Yeah, well, you got a couple days to rest, my brother.
No, there's no rest for the wicked, damn it. Dude, did you hear that one of the members of Tony died in his 60s?
Yeah, I did hear it.
Damn.
The Mixmaster.
It came up on my phone. I screenshotted it because his last name was Wiggins and my boy last name Wiggins.
Yeah,
Another
that
bump,
scares me.
84 eastbound.
I got to live till I'm 80, man. Just at
Yeah,
least.
At least, right?
Toward New Haven, southbound.
All right, I'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday, dog.
All right, buddy.
From exit 60.
All right, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's commentary, but I hope that you enjoyed today's show. It's a Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, all of you. Yeah, me too. Can't wait till Monday. I heard, by the way, to let you folks know, Bob Sampson was listening to the interview with Juan, and he was dying to come on. But I couldn't take his call because it was just too much to get into. But I did tell him to come on Monday if he wanted to respond to it. We'll see whether or not that happens. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I love you. Can't wait to see you next week, okay? Be good to each other.